Okay, our government is about to spend another $3 trillion on top of the 1.9 trillion we just spent on stimulus. Now the government wants to spend $3 trillion on infrastructure. Okay, so because this is not a politics channel, but a channel that teaches you how money works and gives you some concepts, and we talk about how to win in any economic environment. We're going to talk about just that. How do you make, if they go ahead with this $3 trillion spend on infrastructure, how do we win that? Okay, how do we get the most out of it as people who understand how money works? Okay, now let's just talk about what they want to do. The president has proposed a $3 trillion infrastructure spending bill. Now, there is some consternation about it. All right, that price tag may come in lower, may come in higher. It is likely that they're going to get something passed because the party that's proposing it, they have the White House, they have the House of Representatives, and they also, with the tie-breaking vote in the form of the vice president, they have the Senate. So it is conceivable they could get what they want here with $3 trillion spent on infrastructure. Now, on this channel, if you follow us, you know that we always talk about taxes and how you can mitigate the impact, the economic impact that taxes have on you, how you can legally do that. All right, there are legal ways to do it. We talked about them ad nauseum. I want to also say, and some people will disagree, and that's fine, but there are legitimate reasons to pay taxes. Okay, you can't get away with not paying any taxes. I don't care what you do. If you're playing by the law, by the rules, you're not going to get away with just not going through your whole life not paying any taxes. I don't care what business you own. I don't care what you do. If you want to play it straight, you got to pay some taxes. And there are some legitimate and good reasons to pay taxes. And one of those is roads and bridges. Okay. Back in ancient Rome, one of the things that made them so powerful was the fact that they constructed a lot of roads and bridges, and that facilitated all important transportation. They were able to get from point A to point B. The same is true here in America. Our roads and bridges, and I'm going to give you a very simplified example here, facilitate tractor trailers full of toilet paper getting to Walmart, Target, your local grocery store. Okay, if you look at some parts of the developing world, one of the things that holds them back is transportation infrastructure. It's very difficult to get from one place to another, and that creates a bottleneck in commerce. All right, so if you had to pick a good reason to pay taxes, roads and bridges are, definitely up there near the top, if not the top. I would say near the top. So there is that. Again, we've talked about tax mitigation strategies on the channel. We will do so in the future as well. But in this video, we want to talk about ways that you can make this infrastructure spending bill work for you. How can you get a piece of that $3 trillion? How can you put yourself in the stream of all of that torrent of money and, siphon off a little bit? Again, legitimately. All right, let's go over. We're going to do two things here. First, I'm going to give a very easy idea that a lot of guys out there probably have. I know a lot of people that have CDL licenses, all right? And these licenses, they're A's, they're B's, give you the ability to operate big machinery like tractor trailers, dump trucks. Now, if they go in and they start to really, if they get this bill passed, all right, what you need to do is you need to watch how much money is going to be coming to your state and your locality. And if you have a CDL, or if you have a CDL and own your own equipment like a dump truck, then what you need to be doing right now, if you're not already, you need to get incorporated. You need to also, if you are incorporated, make sure your company is in good standing. Okay, clean up any thing that might be holding you back from getting a government contract or acting as a subcontractor to a prime contractor. If they're going to spend $3 trillion, part of which is going to be on roads and bridges, then there's going to be a lot of asphalt and concrete laid. All right. There's going to be a lot of roads torn up and need to be disposed of. And that's where that dump truck piece comes in. The tractor trailer piece, that also plays an integral part, because if you spend $3 trillion, you're going to have a lot of equipment shipped to and from in order to facilitate these repairs, refurbishments, and even in some cases, we might see new roads and new bridges built. And again, this is all incumbent upon whether or not we actually get that money spent. I am not putting myself in a position as being for or against this bill. I'm just looking at it from the standpoint of, if it happens, how can I make some money? All right. And I want to share that with you. So now that we've got that out of the way, we got all of our friends out there, ladies and gents who have the CDL and who have access to equipment that can be integral in this thing. You know what you need to do. Now, to wrap this video up, we're going to go through five. We're going to go through 5 stocks of companies that will definitely be right there in the mix of any infrastructure spend that happens. And then we're going to have a 6th investment that's a bonus. So let's quickly go through some of the stocks that you might want to take a look at and that will be in line to profit from the $3 trillion infrastructure bill if it passes. Now, before I get started on this list, I want to remind you that you need to do your due diligence. I'm just giving you some information about companies who do work in the infrastructure, that roads, bridges, that arena. I am not suggesting that you go out and you buy or sell any stock. All right. I'm just giving you some general information. You have to decide what this information, how it plays into your personal situation. Okay, so let's get started. All right, the first stock, Martin Marietta. Now their ticker symbol is MLM. Martin Marietta, they are a company that manufactures all types of material that you might see on the road. So concrete, steel. They're into wastewater treatment. They are into asphalt. So all of these services that they offer are the types of materials that they deal in are going to be integral to the roads and bridges thing. Any infrastructure type of material. This is going to be one of the companies that probably is in the mix of some prime contracting. We're going to move down here, and the next company that is in our top 5 is a company called Nucor. Now, Nucor is the largest domestic steel maker in North America. Again, steel, you might drive over that road and think it's all concrete, but beneath that layer, there's rebar, okay, that reinforces that road, and that's made of steel and iron. So Nucor is in the mix there. Of course, if they want to do anything with, there's a lot of talk, and we'll have to see. There's a lot of talk about doing refurbishments of actual buildings to make them more environmentally friendly. Steel may play a large part in that. The next stock that we have up is Caterpillar. Now, Caterpillar is a manufacturer of heavy construction equipment. Every time you have to stop on the road and the guy has a stop slow sign, more than likely you are seeing the equipment that they're using is Caterpillar. There's another company on our list that is also an equipment manufacturer, heavy equipment manufacturer, and you very well may see them on the road as well when you are seeing these construction projects out there for roads and bridges, and that is Deere, as in John Deere. And let me go back real quick. Caterpillar's symbol is CAT. If you want to take a look and do your due diligence and your research on that stock, CAT is Caterpillar. Deere, their ticker symbol is DEER. So take a look at both of those, and Martin Marietta as well. Coming down the list here, we've got United Rentals. Now, United Rentals, they have the ticker symbol URI. What do? Anytime you see these cranes or certain other types of equipment that is facilitating a construction job, lighting, things like that, they're in that business. So they're making it possible for the construction workers to get up under these bridges, to light the bridges, to shroud the bridges when all the dust is flying around and whatnot. And they rent out a host of other equipment. So again, their ticker symbol is URI, and the company's name is United Rentals. We got one more, and then we'll get to our bonus. Okay, the next one is a little tricky. Okay, imagine if we're out there extending these roads and bridges into America's hinterlands, then what's going to happen? People are going to be able to make it further out into the country than they may have before. It's going to open up new opportunities for people to do commerce in certain areas of the country. And what do we all have with us at almost every moment of the day? We have our cell phones with us, and we are using broadband data. So there's a company called Crown Castle International. Actually, they're what's called a real estate investment trust. They own 40,000 cell towers, and they control 80,000 route miles of fiber. Fiber as in, glass communications conduit. And you might think, well, how do they make money by doing that? What they do is they lease this space to the Verizons, the AT&Ts, T-Mobiles, and the like, so that they can carry their broadband signals across these towers and across this fiber. So if you are extending folk out into some parts of the country via roads and bridges that heretofore may not have existed, and creating these economic opportunities, then Crown Castle, ticker symbol CCI, is a REIT that you might want to look at. It pays a 3% dividend, and it's a stated goal to grow the cash distributions by 7 to 8% per year. So again, do your due diligence. Crown Castle, as we get more people in the country, again, as we get more opportunity out into what is heretofore been semi-rural or areas that have not experienced ubiquitous cell phone coverage, as 5G becomes more ubiquitous in the network, there's obviously going to be a need for these carriers to, get access to more towers to cover more geographic territory. Now, I did say that we had a bonus. So we did 4 stocks, we did a REIT, and now let's take a look at Global X-US. It's an infrastructure development ETF, or exchange traded fund. The ticker symbol is PAVE, P-A-V-E. And, this will help you mitigate some of the risk here. If you just want to, you're not somebody that plays the stock market, you just want to spread the money out evenly, take less of a risky approach, then Global X-US Infrastructure Development ETF, it may be something you want to look into. It controls 100 infrastructure stocks, so you can bet the ones that we mentioned already are in that list of 100 stocks that they control intact. In fact, their top 10, Deere is included. So that's an ETF. It gives you the opportunity to spread your risk out a little bit, not invest in one company, in one management team. Okay, you got 100 here. So 65% is invested in industrial companies, with another 21% invested in materials. Information technology, utilities, even financials also make up noteworthy chunks of the portfolio, but PAVE is first and foremost a gritty industrial portfolio. Now, you might say, well, what are financial companies doing in there? Who's financing all this? Okay, if you want to rent something from the company that we talked about previously, let me go back up. What was their name? United Rentals. If you want to rent something from them, that's a financial transaction. You're going to need some credit. You're going to need some capital to make that happen. So that's why financial companies are in that mix. So those are some things that you can be thinking of when we're talking about whether or not we're going to see this infrastructure bill, even if we see a $2 trillion one, especially if we see a $4 trillion one. We can complain all day long about Democrat versus Republican. That's a very narrow-minded way to think about things these days, because pretty much they're two sides of the same coin in many ways. You've got to think about how these actions that these politicians take on a local, state, and federal level, how they affect your pocket. How can you advantage yourself and your family? And that's what we're here for. So I'll talk to you soon.